Hello BFs, welcome to my channel. This is Bodfash. In this channel, I create content related to fashion, DIYs, tips and tricks, and pattern drafting tutorials. If you're interested in content like this, please click on the subscribe button, like this video and share.
So this dress was altered from a basic bodice pattern, and I'm going to be uploading a very detailed basic bodice pattern later on this channel. If you want to learn how to cut and sew this dress, how to fix a rope to the side of the dress, how to cut a flare sleeve, the stylish flare sleeve on this dress, please stay on this channel, watch this video to the end, and kindly give this video a like and a subscription. Now this is the basic bodice pattern I have with me, and it has a dart. So what I'm going to do right now is to eliminate this dart because we are making a free and a dartless dress. So what I'm doing right now is I'll just add the allowance I want on the dress, which is 1.5 inches. So I added it at the chest line, the half length, and I confirmed the one at the hip line, and I'll go ahead and connect those 3 dots together. So whatever excess is left is going to be what was added for the dart. So that is what I'm just going to go ahead and cut off as you see me do. When I'm satisfied with this, I will do the same for the back basic block. Now I want you to notice something about the back basic block. In my back basic block, there was a butt contour, and I also did my zipper bulge elimination. I'm not going to be replacing that, right? It's going to be like that. That will help control the bulge at the back of my dress. So now I just went ahead to mark in my sewing allowance, which is 1.5 inch, which is the same thing we did for the front pattern. So now I'll just go ahead and eliminate that allowance that was added to the back. Now I am done eliminating the dart added to this basic bodice pattern. So what I have here is my exact bodice measurement and ease allowances. So I'll go ahead and fold the material I want to use into 2. So right now I went ahead to add 1.5 inch. Initially this pattern was drafted to be a pencil dress pattern, and 1.5 inch was subtracted from the side hem to make it a pencil gown. So what I did was just to replace the 1.5 inch back to make it a straight or free dress. I also added 1 inch hemming allowance to the lower part of the dress, and then right now I'm going to go ahead to add my sewing allowance. Remember, the first 1.5 inch that was added to the pattern was for ease, and now I'm just going to follow this pattern to add my sewing allowance to the dress. So we are done with this part. I've just done a basic pencil dress into a straight cut dress or a free dress. Now that I'm satisfied with what I have done here, I'll go ahead and cut off this dress that I just upscaled. Make sure to add your 1/2 inch sewing allowance at the neckline, the shoulder area, and the armhole region. Now notice the hip allowance and the hem allowance are not the same. For the back pattern block, I'm going to also be repeating the same thing to the side of the dress. So first of all, I'm replacing the 1.5 inch that I took out for the pencil dress. Then I'll connect it to the hip line. Once I am done with that and satisfied that I have a straight cut, I'll go ahead and add my hemming allowance to the dress for hemming, and then I'll then go ahead and add sewing allowance all around the dress, just as you see me do right. So instead of going ahead to draft a new pattern for an A-line dress, you could just alter that beautiful pattern you have with you into an A-line dress the way you see me do. For the back side, that's the zipper side of this dress, I won't be adding any sewing allowance, any stitching allowance, or even ease allowance at that. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out exactly as it is on my pattern paper, which is what you see me do. So this piece of fabric left here is what I'm going to be using for my facing, and if you don't have enough material, you could use your bias to turn your neckline. I've gone ahead to cut the facings for both the front and the back of my dresses. Now I'm going to pin those facing to the dress, just the way you see me do. And I'll take it to my sewing machine. And while the back piece of the dress is two separate pieces because of the zip I'm going to be attaching at the back, and this net is going to be for the sleeve of the dress, which is where our focus is going to be in this tutorial. I have attached the front facing to the front of my dress, and this is how neat it's looking. This is why it's always recommended to cut a facing with the same fabric. I will also do the same thing for the back. This is the two piece for the back. And now I'm going to take this fabric with me to my sewing machine and join the shoulder together. So what I'll be doing is the facing of the back and the facing of the front will be joined together, right side facing each other, while the shoulder for the back and the shoulder for the front will be joined together, right side facing each other. Now this will give you a neater finishing. And I'll also attach the zipper for the back piece, and I'll come back and show you guys the end result. I have attached the zipper to the back piece, and then I sealed the remaining part of the dress. I also went ahead to join the shoulder of my dress together like I stated earlier on, and I went ahead to cut a piece of fabric and sewed it, then turn it. So the length of my fabric piece is about 26 inches. The width should be about 3 inches wide, and sew it with half an inch together and turn it. Now I'll go ahead and put the strap inside the dress. If you put it outside of the dress, that's the wrong side of the dress, you're going to have your strap inside the dress. So what you'll be doing is you place your front piece and back piece facing each other on the right side, then you put your strap in between. While sewing, make sure that the stitches pass in between the strap, and then I'll also go ahead and hem the dress. But before I show you guys the finished product of the dress, let's go and draft our sleeve. Initially I thought of drafting it directly on the net, but then I noticed that it's going to be difficult for you guys to see it, so I'm going to draft it on a pattern paper and transfer it to my sleeve. As you see me do, I'm going to be folding my pattern paper into a triangular shape, just the way I'm doing on this video right now. So now this point I am trying to get right now is the result of my round armhole circumference divided by 2. I'll just go ahead and cut off the excesses that I have by the side. Now you need some basic measurements for this sleeve, which is the round bicep or your round armhole, which is going to be divided by 2, or if you use the circumference of your dress, like your already made dress, you divide it by 2. So what I do in this channel, if you check my previous video, is I take the round circumference of my already made dress and then I'll divide it by 2. Mine was 19 inches, and when I divided it by 2, the result was 9.5 inch. So I'm going down with my tape to mark where 9.5 inch will be exactly if placed horizontally, just the way I did. So I've gotten the mark and I'm going to rule a straight line across. So from that mark I just drew, I'm going to come up by 4 inches. You could make yours 4.5 or 5 inches. That is going to be serving as your cap height. So I would rule another straight line once I have gotten that 4 inches mark. The next thing I'll be doing here is I'm going to rule a diagonal line across these 2 points. Notice that one side of my paper is on fold while the other is not on fold. I'll go ahead and look for the midpoint of this diagonal line I roll. I'll go up by half an inch and come down by half an inch or 0.25. Either ways it still works, because I'm not really going to be using that mark. It's just so I will know how to draw my stretch X. If you've been watching our tutorial in this channel, you notice that this is how I cut my own sleeves. It's easier for me. There are several methods out there. I know different methods. I could teach you guys other methods. With that being said, now I am determining the length of my sleeve, and if you notice one part of our paper is not well covered, I'm going to be attaching a paper later. So I decided to use 21 inches as the length of my sleeve. From the start point, that's from the tip of this stretch edge, I'll be coming down by 21 inches, just the way you see me do. So that's how I'll come down till I get to the bottom of this stretch X. So please watch carefully, you understand if you're paying attention to what I'm doing. And I have successfully gotten that. I'll just go ahead and cut off the pattern that I have drafted. And like I stated earlier on, I'm going to be attaching an extra piece of paper to the part where the paper did not get to. This is not important because this is a pattern, but I just did this just in case the fabric you're using is not enough. You have an idea already that this is not going to be a straight sleeve, it's going to be a flace sleeve. That is how simple it is to cut a flace sleeve with the fullness that I got in this video. So guys, go ahead and try this method, and trust me, you're not going to regret it. It's going to come out very beautiful, just the way you see on my video. So guys, when I'm transferring this pattern that I just drafted to my net, there was really no need for me to fold it into a triangular shape because I have already done that with the pattern paper. But if you're cutting yours directly on your fabric, make sure to fold it into a triangular shape the way we did with our pattern paper. What I just did now is just to go ahead and fold this net into two, and then I'm going to place my pattern that I have already drafted on it, and I'll go ahead and cut this exact shape because the concluding part of the sleeve is going to be a piece of fabric. This piece of fabric is going to be the same as the fabric I used for the dress because of the stylish effect on the tip of my sleeve. So to know the length of the strap to cut, you're going to measure the round circumference of this sleeve we just did. That's the net sleeve. Why for the width, I'm going to be making it 3 inches extra, so at the end of the day my sleeve is going to be 24 inches long. I had already gone ahead to cut the strap that I was going to use to complete the sleeve, and the total width of the strap is 7 inches, and I ironed 1/2 inch on both sides inwardly. So at the end of the day, I had 3 inches width for the strap. The next part of this dressmaking is going to be fixing of the sleeve to the dress because I have already gone ahead to couple the whole dress, put a stripe rope, hem the dress, attach the zip. But first, before fixing the sleeve to the dress, I'm going to attach the fabric to the net, that's the strap. So this is what I'm about to show you guys right now. I'm just going to put the net in between the two fold and top stitch on it. If this won't work for you, then you should go ahead and sew one part of it to the net and then use the other part to cover up and top stitch on it. Use the method that will be more convenient for you. Once you're done with that, go ahead and attach your sleeve to the armhole of your dress, and we are done with the making of this beautiful dress. Simple, right? Thank you for watching to this point of the video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. I know you want to subscribe, you might have forgotten. Please, this is a reminder to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and if you found it valuable, please share with your friends and loved ones. So I also went ahead to use my hemming gum to hem the neckline, and I used my serger or weaving machine to serge the inner part of the dress just to give it a more neater and professional look. Thank you for staying with us, and I'll see you in my next video. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you.